What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So, James Comey is about to get indicted here pretty soon, folks. Indicted. Now, what the corporate press is trying to do with this news article, they're trying to drum this up like, oh, the prosecutors, they have some questions here. They're not sure if they're going to get the indictment. But to me, it's an open and shut case. It's pretty clear for what they're going after him for. Check this out, y'all. Prosecutors' memo to new U.S. attorney found no probable cause to charge James Comey, according to sources. And once again, folks, this is coming from ABC, so it's unsubstantiated sources, if you will. We have no idea. They're anonymous sources. We have no idea who they are or where they're coming from, who they work for, blah, 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 blah. You get it. So, once again, they're trying to put the narrative out there that, oh, the prosecutors are scared they're not going to be able to get the indictment. But look, all they need to do, take this video right here to the grand jury. That's it. That's all you got to do. Take this video right here to the grand jury and show this video to them. This video is all over the place. As a matter of fact, I got some clips to show you guys. So let's get into this right quick, and then I'm going to run them clips whenever it's relevant, when it's pertinent to the news article here. After a 2-month investigation, federal prosecutors in Virginia were unable to gather sufficient evidence to support bringing criminal charges against former FBI Director James Comey for allegedly lying to Congress. Sources tell ABC News. The prosecutors earlier this week summarized their findings that probable cause does not exist to secure an indictment, let alone a conviction at trial, in a detailed declination memo for Lindsay Halligan, President Donald Trump's newly appointed U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, sources said, according to sources. And they must let you know that sources told you this, not them. Nevertheless, sources say Halligan plans to ask a grand jury in the coming days to indict Comey, escalating Trump's unprecedented directive to prosecute some of his political adversaries. Like, see, this whole nonsense right here. His political adversaries. So, like, in the minds of the corporate press, I guess, and liberals, that none of these people that are political adversaries to Donald Trump can ever do anything wrong at all. Like, it can't be that. It can't be Trump is going after these people because there's evidence of a crime and they're following the facts. No, it's Trump is going after these people because, oh, that's their political rivals. No, there's evidence of a crime. Tulsi Gabbard just come out and proved that to us. She showed the receipts. And as a matter of fact, I've got the clips to show you guys. We're going to run those here in just a second. I just want people to act. They have to act. And we want to act fast, Trump said on Saturday after directing Attorney General Pam Bondi to prosecute Comey, New York Attorney General Letitia James, and Senator Adam Schiff. Well, there's evidence for all three of these. But what they're trying to do here is they're trying to tell you that, oh, Donald Trump is directing Pam Bondi to do it. But they also add another statement in here that, yeah, Donald Trump says it's up to them. But they leave that for later in the article. A former insurance lawyer turned White House aide with no prosecutorial experience, Halligan has been advised by career prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office that seeking the charges would violate DOJ policy, raise serious ethical issues, and risk being rejected by the grand jury, sources said. Funny that is, because what DOJ policy does not allow you to investigate criminals? There's no DOJ policy that says that. They are lying, folks. This is what the sources told them, but that is a lie. If somebody breaks the law, does not matter who it is, except for the president, and in that instance, you can still go after the president. You just must go through the impeachment process first, and he must be impeached and convicted in the Senate, and then you can go after him with criminal charges. But there's nobody in this country that the DOJ cannot investigate, prosecute, charge. Boom. There's nobody. She plans to pursue an indictment anyway, carrying out the clear mandate she received when she was installed into the position over the weekend, sources said. And once again, this news article is structured in such a way to try to make it look like Donald Trump is acting in an authoritarian manner. He's just an authoritarian, right? He installed this person because he knew she was going to indict. It's nonsense, folks. The guy quit, the guy that was in that position. He had to put somebody. Like, what are they talking about, by the way? On Thursday, Trump called Comey a bad person, but said the decision to prosecute is up to the Department of Justice. They're going to make a determination. I'm not making that determination. I think I'd be allowed to get involved if I want, but I don't really choose to do so, Trump told reporters in the White House Thursday, just days after imploring the Justice Department to act. You see how they did that? Oh, he implored them to act. But he said that he wasn't going to get involved. He could, but he told them to act. Halligan is working against the clock with the 5-year statute of limitations to prosecute Comey for allegedly making false statements expiring on Tuesday. And you might be wondering, I wonder what those false statements are. Well, look, I've got a little clip montage for you guys I'm going to run right now, as a matter of fact. Check this out.
Were you aware that in December 2016, the CIA tells the FBI they characterized the dossier as internet rumor?
I don't recall being informed of that.
Are you aware of the fact that the subsource was actually interviewed by the FBI in January 2017?
I don't remember anything about interviews of the subs.
President Obama, Hillary Clinton, John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey, and others, including their mouthpieces in the media, knowingly lied as they repeated the contrived narrative that was created in this January 2017 intelligence community assessment with high confidence as though it were fact.
So, she just provided the receipts like a couple of months ago that, yes, as a matter of fact, James Comey, James Clapper, John Brennan, all these folks, they knew that the Steele dossier was fabricated by the Clinton campaign. They lied to Congress. It's as simple as that. All they need to do is take that clip right there and then the evidence from Tulsi Gabbard, put the two together, and you've got a clear-cut case, right? Open and shut. Easy, very, very easy indictment. As a matter of fact, I don't see how you don't indict off of that. And as a matter of fact, I don't see how you don't convict based upon that. He says he doesn't remember, but we know for a fact this was fabricated and greenlit by James Comey, by Obama, as a matter of fact, under the advisory of James Comey, John Brennan, James Clapper, these folks. We know this as a matter of fact. But then that's not the only bit of evidence. We've also got this.
Do you stand by your House testimony on March 20th that there was no surveillance of the Trump campaign that you're aware of?
Correct.
You would know about it if they were, is that correct?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Yes, he said there was no surveillance on the Trump administration. Are you freaking kidding me with this? We know that is an absolute falsehood. There you go. That's two lies. Now, there's another little clip I just want to throw in here just for giggly shits.
On May 3rd, 2017, in this committee, Chairman Grassley asked you point blank, quote, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? You responded under oath, quote, never. He then asked you, quote, have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton administration? You responded again under oath, no. Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
So your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
All right, I'm going to make a final point because my time has expired.
Now, that right there, folks, is very fascinating because we can go back and look at Mr. McCabe and exactly what the FBI did to him. This guy come out as a whistleblower, and he was retaliated against. As a matter of fact, lost his job, lost his security clearance, lost everything from the government. So, I mean, this man come out and destroyed himself to lie? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, what could he have gained by lying about James Comey at the time? He lost his job. He lost everything, folks. So, once again, we can't prove that instance specifically, but I can almost guarantee you that he did authorize leaks to the corporate press because they were leaking like a submarine with several screen doors on it, leaking kind of like the Titanic post iceberg, if you will. So, none of this is questionable at all if you can get an indictment. That is clear-cut facts. He lied outright, and most likely on several different occasions, folks. Let's keep going because I want to run this out. This is a fascinating news article, y'all, the rest of this. The rapid push for an indictment, despite the recommendation of career prosecutors, comes at a fraught time for the high-profile attorney's office, which handles a bulk of the country's national security cases. Trump's previous pick for the job, Eric Siebert, resigned last week after being pressured to bring mortgage fraud charges against James, and Trump, who said he fired Siebert, placed Halligan in the role, overruling senior DOJ leadership with a clear goal of securing criminal charges against James, Schiff, and Comey. Yeah, he did resign. I don't know where this statement is that they say that Trump said he fired him, but he pretty much did fire him. There were rumors going around, and Trump's, rumors that Trump was going to fire him, so he quit before Trump could fire him. So, call it whatever you want. I haven't heard that clip. If you guys know of that clip, give me a link down in the comments section. I'd love to see that. Trump has repeatedly invoked the 4 criminal cases he faced after losing the 2020 election. Like, what's the relevance of this, by the way? Oh, it's the authoritarian. Oh, it's the fascist. This is what the corporate press does. This is how we get all these nut jobs all over the place committing political violence, folks, including charges that he mishandled national security secrets and sought to illegally overturn an election to justify bringing the cases against the 3 longtime adversaries of the president, right? They wouldn't be adversaries if they would never have lied about Donald Trump. As a matter of fact, they went after him. It's not him going after them. This is another fallacy by the corporate press. Oh, they're longtime adversaries. Well, they weren't adversaries, once again, until they faked a bunch of indictments, faked all these charges against Donald Trump, and brought this nonsense political fight to Donald Trump. And you don't expect him to push back. But he's the authoritarian for retaliating against these people. He's the authoritarian for responding in kind. Right. Exactly, folks. Exactly. I welcome all of this, by the way, because these swamp monsters, they need to be put down, to be honest with you. They need to have, they need to make recompense, if you will. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, and Letitia? Trump wrote in a social media post on Saturday evening. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Virginia began investigating Comey in early August following Trump's renewed call for prosecutions related to alleged Russian interference in the 2016 election, sources told ABC News. I wonder who these sources exactly are. The investigation, which is being carried out concurrently in the Western District of Virginia and Eastern District of Pennsylvania, directly stemmed from FBI Director Kash Patel's discovery of sensitive documents at the FBI headquarters related to the Russia probe, sources said. That is right. So they had this hidden room that had a bunch of files relating to all of this, just kind of stashed away in burn bags that were never burnt. Yeah, so that was fascinating. I don't believe Kash Patel has released that yet, has declassified it and released it, but I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong about that, but I will say I haven't seen anything. And I've been trying to stay on top of all these releases from Kash Patel because he has been releasing a lot of information, folks. A whole hell of a lot of information. They said the documents prompted investigators to examine whether Comey's testimony to Congress in September 2020 regarding Russian interference could support charges of perjury or obstruction. Prosecutors specifically examined Comey's testimony about Hillary Clinton's alleged involvement linking Trump to Russia and whether Comey authorized leaks of anonymous information to the media. Once again, we already went over that. But what about him lying? See, they didn't mention that. His testimony back in 2017, well, they did mention that one, but in 2020, specifically about the, knowing about the Russian collusion hoax, about that Steele dossier or whatever, about knowing that it was fake. He said he didn't remember. Well, you're going to have to prove it because according to the documents, you authorized it, my dude. During his testimony to the Senate Judiciary Committee on September 30th, 2016, Comey defended his conduct and rejected claims that the investigation was politically motivated. Of course it was politically motivated, folks. Of course it was politically motivated. That's another lie. That is absolutely another lie, and that's all of that news article. But we know it was politically motivated because, once again, Obama authorized all of this, by the way. He greenlit the Clinton campaign to release the Steele dossier. He allowed the FBI and James Comey to authorize that investigation, the spying on Donald Trump. Like, are we trying to kid ourselves here and pretend that this wasn't politically motivated? Really, you're going to spy on the Trump campaign with no evidence that he's working with the Russians. Like, you knew that this evidence that they brought to you was fake. Otherwise, outside of the fabricated evidence, there's absolutely no evidence that Donald Trump was working with the Russians to try to steal the election in 2016. Oh, and by the way, when you do look into that intel assessment, hang on, what was the interference? He said it was coordinated, it was sophisticated, it was all these other things. It was like high-level stuff here. Very, very sophisticated. And what was that campaign, by the way? Oh, it was like a Facebook campaign. It was social media, folks. Social media campaign. Yeah, they weren't trying to, well, I'm not going to say they weren't trying to rig the machines, but there's no evidence at all that they ever attempted to rig the machines to get Donald Trump elected. That is right, folks. No evidence whatsoever. So that's 4 situations where Comey, we know for a fact, he lied. He lied to Congress about testimony. So I don't know what the corporate press is trying to do here. Once again, they're trying to make Donald Trump look like an authoritarian. Once again, folks, it's always that narrative that Republicans and Donald Trump are evil, and conservatives, Christians out there, the same people that kind of believe in, turn the other cheek type of stuff, the same people that, like the other day when Erica Kirk forgave the guy that assassinated her husband, those people, by the way, those people that you can go to a church if you're homeless and hungry and they'll feed you and give you clothes, try to get you a job, try to get you somewhere to stay. Those people are evil because they don't believe in certain things, certain ideological ideas that the left believes in. So they're going to smear these people as evil. Folks, this cannot be sustained. The political landscape that we have going on in this country cannot be sustained. The left, the far left, all these people that are getting out of line and committing terroristic threats and political violence and all this, they need to be put down like a dog, like a rabid dog. They must. This must come to an end, folks. This cannot be sustained. We cannot live this way. I do not call for any political violence at all, ever. Offensive violence is never the answer. Never. If it weren't for that, defensive violence would not even exist at all. There would be no need for defensive violence. But, I would say defend yourself if you need to, but You know, there should be no need for violence at any point in time ever. If we can't forgive our enemies, then there's something wrong with us, folks. There's absolutely something wrong with us. But we must coexist. This must be stopped, because this, once again, it's unsustainable. It just cannot continue like this. Something is going to happen, and it's not going to be very pretty. But I think I've rambled on for long enough. You guys, y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. I've got another news article, more lawfare, if you will, and it's great. I'm loving every single minute of it. But y'all do me that favor and smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. And click that join button. You know you want to, but you might be thinking that, I ain't got $5 a month. You don't have $5 a month? Come on now. But other than that, you guys remember that God is always with us, and he loves each and every one of you out there. So y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.